Welcome to another episode of Voices of the Game. Yay! So today my special guest is Tyreek. Everyone say hey to Tyreek.
How y'all doing?
Okay, so before we get started, just tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do in sports.
Okay. So my name is Tyreek Hayes. I'm a junior here at USC studying sports management entertainment. I also am involved heavy on campus. I'm involved with sports programs within the SPT program here. Um, I'm a part of a fraternity here, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, by way of the My Elections Zeta Zeta chapter. I'm also involved within sports, like she said, with the football team here. I work with the football team. I work with the defensive line, specifically defensive ends. This is my going into my third season. I've been here since the 2023 season working with the team. And hopefully that takes me a long way within sports once I graduate here. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so you're like a coach.
Somewhat, you can call me that. I work hands on with them every day, so I'm probably around them more besides the head coach than anybody else in the staff. So
That's
on a
cool.
daily basis.
So how many people is on y'all team? Like, is it just you? Is it like a group of y'all?
So as far as players, they just released a statement that they had to shorten down team sizes across the NCAA because of NIL money, NIL deals, stuff like that. So I think currently we had last year around 125 players on the team. I think now we're trying to shoot for 108 so we can make qualification with the NCAA so we won't get, fined and stuff like that once the season starts. So
Wow.
so it's a lot of people. And then we have different staffs there. You got the trainer staff, who's obviously the trainers. Then you got the strength staff, and you got the creative media. Then you have the obviously the equipment room. So it's a lot of key roles that come apart when it comes to the football team. It's just not the players. It's a lot. Nutrition staff, they got to eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's all that stuff like that. So
See, yeah, that's the part. That's the point. Sorry, of my show is Voices of the Game, because I feel like when people think about athletics, it's always just the athletes, but it's people behind the scenes too that are everyday people.
Yep.
So I want to use my platform to give those people the opportunity to talk more about themselves, talk about what they do, not only in sports but outside of sports, because they're just as important.
Right. Some people don't see that because it's like I call it the behind the scenes. They don't ever see like, oh yeah, we up at 6 o'clock in the morning, got to be there and set up the practice field before everybody else get there. And the nutrition staff got to cook breakfast before everybody get there. You don't really see that, but like you said, everything comes together. It's like a big family at the end of the day that everybody has to do a job. So
that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit more about your role specifically. So what exactly is a day-to-day job like for you?
So we'll go to we'll do in season because
Okay.
right now we're off season. In season is typically more work. I like to say you have to be there. For me, I get there around like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm there at 6, and then I'm there from probably 6 to 3 in the afternoon. We get there around 6. Eat breakfast. Then after you eat breakfast, you typically I like to speak hand on hand with my position coach, which is Sterling Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
He talks to me and tells me what he wants to do for the day and what he needs. We'll game plan, and then I'll go outside and I'll just try to map out specifically what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it. And that's probably around, I'm gonna say probably like 7 or 8:30. Practice doesn't start till 10:20, so that's a large span. I'm there at 6. Practice don't start to probably like around 10:15.
Dang.
So from 10:15 to 12:30 is when practice is, and we usually have, depending on the day, we'll say like a typical Tuesday, it's a 16-period practice. So there, in those 16 periods, there are special teams. You have an indie period where it's just specifically your position group. You have teach periods, and each period is probably like 3 minutes. Special teams typically 10 minutes, and that's what the practice consists of. And it's probably the most intense 16 periods that you ever experience. And then once that's over, we all get together. Everybody goes about their way and do what they have to do, and then you have team meetings. Then you have film breakdown, and then depending on your coach, how deep he is in the game, he might actually come back around 5 o'clock for more film study later on in the afternoon. So
Lord.
it's a full-time job during the season. off season is kind of more, laid back. We just started spring ball, so we got a spring game coming up on the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of laid back. It kind of progresses. January is more like just working out. February gets more into depth of, like trying to go outside more, get used to the outside experience. Then March, you got full pads on, helmet, shoulder pads, and pants. So it's a job, and people don't realize I tell people all the time, when you're working within sports like football, it's year round. It doesn't stop. Basketball, we just had a national championship game. They probably started back working out last week. Well, this week somehow, and it's gonna go year round. It doesn't stop. So it's a full-time job.
How do you go to class and work at the same time? Do you even go to class? Are y'all online? Like how are you making this work?
When I first started, I had classes between, I'm gonna say my first class was like at 2, my last one ended at 7 at night. And I wasn't a fan of it. But that's something they told me when I first started. It was like making a commitment. So, like you're going to be here all day in the morning time. So your class is going to be at night. I wasn't going back home till like 8 o'clock at night. My last class ended like around 7, 8. So it's a huge adjustment that you have to, make. And then you're tired. You don't want to go to class.
Right.
You got to go. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're here for.
You're here for your education. But you're really here to work.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a huge commitment. It's a huge task. But if you do it the right way, it can possibly set you up in the long run. So.
That's good. So do you feel like managing all that, do you have any challenges or things that you wish you knew before or maybe have done differently before getting into the role?
I'll put it like this. The best thing to do is wear your heart on your sleeve. You can't show no feelings around there. Like I said, it's a job. Everything is straightforward. That's probably one of the challenges you face. You have to be able to, talk and talk and be able to handle working with others because sometimes it's not always going to be your way how you want it. That's probably the biggest thing. Communication and teamwork is what you probably gonna need the most working with that in that field because it's like I said, it's a whole heap of people. You got to communicate and you come here, you be here in this moment. So that's pretty much what the challenges that I faced early on. Now it's probably not that much challenges. Besides, like I said, still having your heart on your sleeve. You can't really show no feelings around there. So stuff like that.
All gas, no brakes.
That's literally what it is.
So what was your inspiration to going into this? Did you play sports growing up? Talk a little more about that.
So growing up, I'm from Mullins, South Carolina. That's probably 2 hours.
Mullins, same place as Xavier Leggett.
Yes.
You knew him growing up?
He was my high school quarterback.
Y'all played together?
We played together, yes. He was my high school quarterback, and then we played varsity basketball together in Mullins. So I knew him pretty much all my life. But very, very country, as you know. He's country, so obviously Mullins is country. But I played sports growing up. I played football and basketball. Then I played. Everybody don't know this, but I played tennis as well on the side. I did play tennis.
Was you good?
I was all-region player of the year. Twice. It was a hobby, but I was actually trained for it when I was 8, so nobody really knew that. So
wow.
When I got in high school, it was just like it was clockwork. So that's typically how it was with tennis. But it wasn't my main sport that I was, like trying to aim for. I just ended up being really good at it. So had numerous awards for it and stuff like that. Had 2 scholarship offers for it. But I'm
quite mesmerized.
Yeah.
I've never ran into someone, especially being from like a small town in South Carolina, it's like, I played tennis and I was good, especially a guy. Like,
people don't
majority of women play tennis, but guys, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then I played football and basketball, like I said. I was recruited out of high school to play football. I had numerous Division II, some Division I offers. And I was also being recruited here as a walk-on to play football here my freshman year when I first got here. Things happen, coaches leave. That's a part of the business. Like I said, sports is a business. Coaches was here that was actually recruiting me. They ended up, he transitioned to another school. So I kind of hung up the cleats and I was like, let's get into something that I know that once I graduate, I want to do for the rest of my life. So
that's smart. You're a smart man.
Yeah. So that was the whole plan. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So we all saw the video of you in the mannequin outfit. So I'm gonna assume Justin King's team came up with that idea. And how did you get selected to be in the costume or in the uniform?
It was just one day they were like looking for somebody, and I happened to be in the room when they were talking about it. And I was like, we need somebody who's kind of like, like kind of
get big.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I was just looking at him. He was like, we'll think about trying you. And I'm like, sure, why not? And that was probably back in January. The video was just posted in April.
Dang.
So that we talked about that back in January, and it was, I'm gonna say, probably 2 weeks ago. He gave me a call on Friday night around 8:00 and was like, I need you here at 6:00 in the morning tomorrow. And I was like, for what? He was like, it's time to do the mannequin thing. I'm like, let's do it. So I got there around 6:00 that morning. I suited up, put the whole uniform on. I stood there in that same position for probably 6:00 and 9:15. And I was just standing there.
Dang, you couldn't move or nothing.
6:00, 9:15. And I was cramping, I was hurting, I was hungry, I was everything. It was people don't realize it's actually harder than what it seems, because you really don't want to move, because like your goal is to
look
scare,
like a mannequin.
you know what I'm saying, and not move, you know what I'm saying. And some people, like, if you look at the mannequin from the video at the beginning, he's kind of slimmer than me. And I'm a little bit more bigger. So that was like, I noticed something was wrong with the mannequin. Like, he looked a little bigger than that. But, first knowledge, you're not going to think, like, somebody's in that. You know what I'm saying? And some players were like, they knew. Like, they were like, when they first put him out in January, they were like, I kind of got a feeling that one day they're going to scare somebody. But they didn't know when. So it was just that day. And it was fun. But, it was definitely a challenge for sure.
Oh, you got them. Buddy swung on you.
He did. Buddy Matt did swing on me. He did. He definitely did. He caught me off guard. Dylan Stewart stiff on me. I'm like, I was expecting it, but I'm like, geez, you know what I'm saying? So it was fun though. It was fun.
That's funny. So now we're gonna switch gears a little bit and go into the segment that I call Beyond Sports.
Okay.
So the first question that I have for you is, when you're not working and you're not there from the butt crack of dawn all the way to the end of the night, what are you doing? What interests you?
Let's see what interests me. I like to I'd be so tired. I like to sleep for one. I'll put it like that. But I like the outdoors. I'm an outdoor guy. Like I said, I'm from the country, so any opportunity I get to be outdoors, that's what I do. Like over spring break, I was literally fishing the whole week. I ain't go nowhere out the country. Y'all probably travel. I didn't do that.
I was on somebody's cruise.
Yeah, I was in a lake with boots on in the water, throwing the reeling rod in, stuff like that. So, and I like to play video games too. Like, it ain't no childish stuff, but I like to play like NCAA and Madden and stuff like that. So that's probably what I do in my regular time. Oh, y'all didn't know this. Nobody knew this. I also play music. I play saxophone. I
played saxophone in high school.
Really? So yeah, that's what I do on the regular too.
I thought about joining the band here, but when I realized the commitment and it really wasn't no money in it for, I said that scholarship not quite enough for me. But I love a music genius. That's cool.
Play saxophone on the side, so. Yeah.
So if you weren't working in sports, where do you think your career path would have shifted to?
Probably music. I grew up in the church, so me growing up in the church, I was playing the drums when I first started in church. I played drums when I first started growing up in the church, and then kind of transitioned over to sports. But I feel like if sports wasn't my, bread and butter, I probably would be playing music. I probably would be here for music. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
that's cool. That's different. That's kind of, I had a Courtney here last week, and I asked her what she would be doing different, and she was like, probably theater. Like,
theater, okay.
Like, people in sports have very interesting talents and hobbies.
There's a lot of athletes I know that when I was growing up, I was watching them. They'll have, like, for instance, they'll do like the NBA All-Star, and they'll do like a hidden talent type thing type on the side, and some of them play the piano, some of them play saxophone, drums, and I think every once athlete did have like a music type of background or something like that, type of feel or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me,
but music hype them up before the game, so maybe they had to tap into more than listen it. But I gotta play it for myself too.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. You're probably right. I know that. That's me. That was me. Yeah.
That's cool. So we're gonna shift a little bit to mental health in the job, because we came from a time period where mental health really wasn't talked about a whole lot, but now it's at the forefront of things, and a lot of people are prioritizing that. And you mentioned working a lot and working full time. So how do you manage that work-life balance?
I just try to take it day by day, man. It can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. Being a college student first is one. Being a college student, and you trying to manage your schoolwork, and you trying to be the best. I'm the type of person. I try to be the best. It don't matter what I'm doing. I'm trying to put my best foot forward. So it can be a lot, but sometimes you got to take time and just be to yourself, man. That's what I do. I try to single everybody out, single myself out, and just relax, chill out, do something that I want to do to kind of get me back to that mental point. You know what I'm saying? I actually talked to a lot of athletes about that. I did a survey last semester on mental health regarding student athletes, and a lot of them were like, it's kind of hard to get in the door, regarding mental health because there's so many athletes here that want to talk to somebody and do this and do that because their whole life is dedicated to a ball or running or something like that. So sometimes you need somebody to, debrief with or talk to. So what I do is I just try to isolate myself and go in the corner and just breathe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just take time to myself. That really helps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that kind of leads me to my next question, being in kind of like that coaching role. I know it's probably interesting being like you coaching your peers almost. Like
kind of in a way, yeah.
Like it's like I'm telling my big brother, come on, flip the tire, bro.
Yeah,
like
that's literally how it is. Yeah,
like get it together. But when they do have that burnout and when they are just like, I don't even want to be here anymore. Like how do you help them manage that? What do you tell them to kind of like calm them down and get their head back on straight?
Remember why you're here. Remember why you're doing this. That's really all I think about. Like, why are you doing this? How did you get to this point? You got to think about it. I understand it gets overwhelming, but it's so many other people out here who would kill to have the opportunity we have right now. You're going to school for free, playing sports. You can't beat that. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. That's so real.
You go to school for free, 4 years. You get everything you want. So just take time. I tell them like just chill, man. You got I understand where your head at. We've all been there, but look at the whole picture, man. Why? Like, what is your why? Why are you doing this?
That's good. See, you better than me. I'd be like, do you know how much money is out here right now? Like, just take a second and think about the money. After all this is over, you can afford a trip.
if you do it the right way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So. See, that's good. That's good. Okay, so my last question in this segment, of course, is who or what has helped you most in maintaining a strong mindset throughout your career?
Mama Dukes. Mama for sure. She definitely is the one who pushed me to be the person I am today. I can call her right now and she'll give me some type of uplift somewhere about something. So that's pretty much not the only person, but the person who, drives me to, keep going and do stuff when, it gets hard and stuff like that. So
that's nice. That's nice. So where do you see yourself in maybe within the next year or once you graduate? Like where are you planning to go with your career? Do you want something more coaching like or you want to go into the entertainment side? What are your plans?
So with coaching, I was telling somebody this other day, it's a lot of commuting with it. A lot of typically coaches, like people don't even know Coach Beamer. This was not his first stop. He was at Tennessee, he was at Georgia, he was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So once I graduate, my goal is to stick around here. I do want to stay here and stick with coaching. Whatever happens from there, I might get a call from University of Alabama and be like, I want you here to work with defensive line. You never know. So my goal is just to stick with coaching. Something I love to do or want to do, once I do graduate, graduate assistant, and then go from there being a GA, to higher and higher and higher. So it's levels to it in everything you do, but it's definitely levels.
You got to work your way up to
you
get to the top. Okay. So my last thing is my fun segment, my favorite part. It's called Who Does He or She Want to Be? Okay. So I'm going to show you a picture and I want you to tell me who do you think this person wants to be?
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right. Let's see.
Okay.
Bro, how did you he at that moment, can I tell you what he wanted to be at that moment?
Yeah, go for it.
He definitely wanted to be an NBA basketball player for sure.
Okay, NBA.
That was the dream.
He got the suit on and all.
Yeah, that's actually Easter Sunday.
Okay, he is risen.
When I was probably 6 or 5 years old, but yeah, that kid right there wanted to be definitely an NBA All-Star, one day NBA player. That was my first dream. I was always into basketball growing up. I went to numerous camps around that age, and you put a ball in my hand, that's all I wanted. So, but as I grew older, I'm gonna say I probably hit that football sprout probably my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So yeah, that's definitely who that little kid wanted to be.
That's nice. That's sweet. So
Yeah.
thank you, Tyreek, for being on my show.
No problem.
I can't wait for you to see this. It's
I
gonna be
appreciate
great.
it. Thank you
Thank
for the
y'all for
opportunity.
watching.